Hi, my name is Ruth Medd, the Executive Chair of Women on Boards, and welcome to my Vacancies Board Review for February 2023. This is a regular segment if you haven't listened to it before. It's meant to be interesting, helpful, and hopefully a bit amusing. So, what I talk about is vacancies that are available on the WOB Jobs Board that are closing within a modest time frame going forward, but not too soon that you miss out. So that's the objective. Today, I'm talking about government boards because they're an excellent way to start your board career. Many people ask me, is a not-for-profit the thing to do? It may be, but please do consider government boards. Lots of variety. They do different sorts of things. They're generally paid and look pretty good on your CV. And of course, you're giving back to the national interest. In addition, today, I'll talk about some paid boards, either private companies or for-purpose companies, entities. And then I've got my usual segment of other, which is a bit of a couple of sort of interesting left field type things. So government boards, first up, and I'm doing a tour of the states. So first up is South Australia, 29501. The Veterinary Surgeons Board of South Australia, a typical regulatory body that registers, deregisters vets and worries about health and safety in the veterinary industry. They're looking for a non-veterinarian, so that's just about everybody in the WOB network, although we do have a few vets amongst us, and the ones I've met have always been very pleasant people. So this closes on the 26th of February. You need to be a South Australian for this one in practical terms. Next up, 29539, the Tasmanian Dairy Industry Authority. Closes on the 24th of Feb. Once again, it's paid. And this is a small organisation that's interested in a sustainable Tasmanian dairy industry. And of course, Tasmania is very keen on clean and green food. So this is another example of that. They're looking for a board member with skills in governance, advanced manufacturing, and agriculture and farming. They, of course, will take non-Tasmanians. They may or may not in this case, but if you're nearby, Akka in Victoria, think about it also. Next up, 29543. Off we go to Victoria for the Victorian Registration and Qualifications Authority. This is an education sector authority, and they are looking for somebody with business operations, quality assurance, education and training, governance and leadership. And that, once again, is a paid role. You probably do need to know a fair bit about the education sector for that one. Fourth up, 29588 is New South Wales. So it's the Oberon Council. So rush to maps and find out where Oberon is, which is what I did. They want an audit and risk committee member. Now, this is one of the large number of audit and risk committees that get posted on our websites. They're always looking for independent members of these bodies. It's often local government, but doesn't need to be. And they got a fairly standard set of skills, as you would expect: audit, governance, risk management. And on this occasion, because it's a council, a local government council, it's nice if you know something about local government. So that's 4 vacancies. And the Oberon Council closes on the 3rd of March, so fair amount of time for that one. Next up, we regularly get what I call campaign postings on the WOB Jobs Board. This is when a state government usually has a number of vacancies that it wants to fill. And they can be in the health sector, they can be in the environment sector, they can be in all sorts of different sectors. And on this occasion, we have from Victoria, 29549, the land management portfolio entities. Now, what might they be, you say? Well, they've got 14 positions going, closes on the 3rd of March, and the entities involved are the Marine and Coastal Council. Second is the Environmental Assessment Council. Third up is the zoos, Zoological Parks and Gardens, and they've got lots of sites across Victoria, as you Victorians would know. And then the very lovely Phillip Island Nature Parks. So they're looking for people who know something about conservation, environment, and land management. So give those a go if you're interested in those topics. They'd be really interesting, great contributor to the, the public good, and you'll meet some interesting people. So that's the land management portfolio entities. So let's move on to my category of paid roles. First up, 29519, an organisation called Co-Health. Based in Victoria, paid. It's a not-for-profit community health organisation, of which there are lots and lots around. And they're looking for health, safety and environment skills, communication, compliance, and clinical governance. So that's that one. Next up is 29496, Providence Consulting Group, which is a national vacancy, closes on the 3rd of March. This is one of a group of what I call consulting companies that some of us haven't really come across. They're usually fairly specialist. And this Providence Consulting Group, they've got 150 employees Australia-wide, and they do consulting to the federal government, defence industry, the mining sector, etc. So I think what they're really wanting, and this is typical of consulting postings, they want somebody who's got good connections into the places where they have clients or prospective clients. So they're looking for people with knowledge of one or more of federal government, defence industry, the mining sector, and the rail and transport sector. And also it's a good idea to know a bit about consulting practices. So that's Providence Consulting Group. Next up, 29584 is PX Wealth Management Proprietary Limited. Closes on the 4th of March. Once again, a paid role. Now, this is possibly one of the more obscure postings that we've received. What they do is they have a client list of people transferring UK pensions and funds to Australia, and then they provide wealth management for the people who are doing that. They're looking for financial counselling, transformation and growth, understanding of pensions and superannuation, change leadership, strategic planning and implementation. So if you've worked in the financial services sector, this might be something that you might want to put your hand up for. Interesting role, a fairly specific topic, but I do remember my aged mama, who's no longer with us, she had a UK pension, which she used to correspond regularly with the UK pension authorities, and it did seem to occupy a fair amount of her time. So perhaps PX Wealth Management are performing a very useful function. Okay, so that was my not-for-profits and private companies for this session. Now, other. Greenpeace, you'll have all heard of Greenpeace. They're posting on our website at 29515 and 29514. They want both a board member and also someone to join their General Assembly. So the way they work, they've got a General Assembly of about 50 people who, as far as I can tell, appoint the board and then have some annual sort of event where they oversee the board. We all know Greenpeace is an environmental campaigning organisation, and they're looking for board members with, unsurprisingly, lobbying and advocacy skills, an understanding of Indigenous education, renewable energy, and basically sustainability. So if that is of any interest, they do pay expenses. So that's one thing to think about. If you're interested in that sort of thing, and lots of people are, I commend that to you. That's 29515. And finally, 29423 is the Casuarina All Sports Club in the Northern Territory. Bit out of the usual run-of-the-mill. Closes on the 1st of April. They say in their posting that they're one of the Northern Territory's premier clubs, and I suspect they have quite a healthy turnover. And I would think you need to be an NT resident or somebody who visits there regularly. And they're looking for the usual standard set of skills that you might not find amongst your usual catchment area for board members for clubs. So they're looking for business operations, governance, marketing, understanding of hospitality, and abilities with strategic planning and implementation. So there we have it. We've had government boards across Australia. We've had the Victorian campaign for land management portfolios. We've had a couple of private companies and a not-for-profit, and then we finished with Greenpeace and Casuarina. And as always, my tip for this session is, 2023 is marching on. And so how are you going with thinking about what boards you want to target and making the effort to make sure that your collateral, which is your CV, your cover letter and your pitch, are up to date? We're here to help if you need it, but happy hunting. Please have a look on the the Jobs Board. There are many other vacancies as well as the ones I've mentioned today. They're coming in at a rapid pace, so opportunity knocks everybody. So good luck and talk to you next time.